Hello, yes. Welcome to the Elden Ring rant. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm not going to beat it, though. It is. It's way too hard for me, and I'm not good at games. Wait, what's that over there? Oh, it's a very late April Fool's joke. April Fools. Anyway, I promised I was going to make this video. I started on it months ago, and stuff happened. I tried to write the script. It ballooned way too much. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to talk about all my thoughts and feelings on this game, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. So before I can talk about Last of Us 2, I have to talk about Last of Us 1. In that game, he plays Joel, and it's a zombie apocalypse game. At the start of it, he loses his daughter. 20 years have passed, and it's the start of the game, and you have to take this girl across the United States. And at first, Joel and the girl Ellie, they don't really like each other, not at all. But as the game goes on, Joel realizes that this is his daughter. This is it. She might not be by blood, but he cares about her a lot. And the final section of the game, you get Ellie to the Fireflies, the main goal, but then Joel learns that she's going to be killed in order to make the vaccine, and Joel decides no, and he raises hell, and he just takes out everyone in there to save Ellie. They leave, and then Ellie wakes up in the car afterwards. She's like, "Oh, what happened?" And then Joel lies and says, "Oh well, you see, they didn't need you there. There were dozens of other people like you. They can't do it anymore. I'm sorry, Ellie." And then Ellie's like, "Okay." And then in the last section of the game, she's like, "Joel, tell me. I need you to tell me. Did what happened there at the Fireflies? With what you said, was that true?" "Yes, every word of it." "Okay." And that's how the first game ends. We don't know if Ellie believes the lie or not, but I think she wants to believe it. Last of Us 2 picks up a bit afterwards, but first I gotta talk about the lead up to getting this game with the controversy of Game of the Year 2020. Now, Game of the Year 2020 had many very strong candidates: Hades, Doom Eternal, Ghost of Tsushima, Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is definitely my lowest. That was the one that I wouldn't pick. It's not my genre, but semantics. Anyway, so I played Hades, and I was like, I want this to be Game of the Year. Then I played Ghost of Tsushima a bit later, and I was like, this is actually my Game of the Year 2020. But then Last of Us Part Two got Game of the Year 2020. But there's so much controversy because yeah, it kills Joel in the first hour, and then when you get to the climax, you play as the guy who killed Joel. Whoops. Yeah, no, I know there's not a spoiler warning, but it sucks to be you. This game's been out a couple of years. Deal with it. Anyway, another lead up that really killed a lot of my enthusiasm was a quote from the director Neil Druckmann: "The game is not supposed to be fun," which I will get back to. Another thing was Nanky Jakey's Last of Us 2 video, which I love, but there's one thing, there was one quote in it that made me really hesitant to play it. He said something along the lines of, "It took me 20 hours to beat this game. You can play through all of the combat encounters one after another. One, yeah. How long do you think it took me to do it all in one sitting on hard? It took me 3 hours." I will get back to that one as well. Anyway, so I was very content with not playing this game. Some online friends definitely tried to make me play it, and I was like, no, 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 I don't want to play this. But then I remembered another thing. I had a realization. I had an epiphany. Dark Souls 2. This game, also, just like Last of Us 2, was hated by the internet hive mind. And like, people did not like it. I was also part of the hate mob until I broke down and tried it. And I was like, you know what? Game's not great, but you know what? It ain't bad. So I realized I have to at least play it. At least I can make a video out of it. And wow, I wonder if I'm making a video on it. Anyway, so I was like, I don't want to do this, but I have to. I just have to. Anyway, Upon booting it up, I like the main thing that I have to say about it, it looks great. The graphics are this is one of the best looking games out there. Genuinely. Like I think it looks better than some PS5 games. I was playing this on a used PS4 Slim. Anyway, so yeah, I booted it up and I got into it and I was like, you know what? This is just Last of Us 1. And then I got to the moment where Joel dies and I was very mad. One other point is that this is very uncharacteristic for Joel because Joel is very cautious in Last of Us 1. And him to just say, "Oh, I'm Joel," and then get killed, it's very uncharacteristic. I will get back to this as well. So I got to the moment, and needless to say, I did not want to play anymore. I was very hesitant to keep going, but I had to stick with it because if I wanted to complain about this game, I had to complain better. Anyway, so I got into the gameplay, and you know what? It's good. The gameplay is great. Like I'd say that the gameplay is at least on par with Last of Us One, if not better. It's a really fun game. Just for the combat. It's really good. It's really good. There are some moments where you're just like, wow, this is awesome. Like there's one moment a bit into the game where you have to beat up all these guys and most combat encounters last like just the first group of enemies, and then yeah, this one just kept going. Like normally, I'd say most combat encounters have like 5 people. This one had like 20. I know that's not much, but it's a lot for this game. Also, I just remembered I forgot to talk about the story. Basically, Ellie goes after Abby, the woman who killed Joel, and they discover that she's in Seattle, and Tommy, Joel's brother, also went after them. So Ellie has 2 missions: avenge Joel, save Tommy. Anyway, I can't really remember the story. Yeah, you get there, and one point that I'm gonna make is that one of my biggest complaints with the game is that the side characters in Last of Us One are terrible. Not terrible, just boring. They have the personality of a bread sandwich. Like genuinely, most people who were not in the first game did not like. They were boring. Most of the main characters, like Dina, Jesse, Mel, Owen, Manny, I could not care less about any of them because they were just boring. They had no character, unless you count anime as a character, as a personality trait. I don't. But yeah, that was definitely one thing that kind of killed. That was one thing that made it hard to keep going. Because one thing that Last of Us One I really liked was the side characters who aren't Joel and Ellie. They're great. Like Tess, the brothers, can't remember their names, but yeah, no, I can't remember their names. Nathan, no, David. Those guys, wow, they're great. Like it's really fun to be with them because they're entertaining. A character doesn't have to be deep to be good. They just need to be entertaining. And unfortunately, most of the characters aren't. Dina, like, is the worst. She has, like, I can't think of a single desire about her. And that's the big part about a character. They need something that they need to do. Dina's just like, oh, what, Ellie? You're going on a massive, you're going on a genocidal war path. Oh, I need a +1. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, so you're getting into gameplay, and you're like, yeah, you know what? This is pretty good. This is pretty good. And and you know what? I was kind of enjoying it at this point. No, I wasn't kind of enjoying it. I was really enjoying it. I was having fun. And then we get to the climax. This part, ooh, I tell you, it was not fun. It was not fun. So the climax. So the whole point of Ellie's journey in this is to find Abby, and she fails. She can't find her, and Ellie kills a bunch of her friends and a bunch of the people in her faction. The finale is you going to go kill Abby. But oh no, you got to where you think she is, but oh no, she's not there. It's this weird guy and this woman. Oh, but and they're threatening Dina and Tommy. Oh no, oh no. Oh well, then you're gonna stab the woman. Oh no, she's preggo. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm so sad. I don't know what happened. Oh no, now I have PTSD. Oh well, let's go back to our base. Oh, what's that knock at the door? Oh shoot, it's Abby. And she kills Jesse, who I have said does nothing. He has no personality, like all of the characters in this game. Genuinely. Yeah. Anyway, you're about to fight, and Face of Black 3 days earlier. Now you're playing as Abby. And if there was any time in a game where I wanted to quit, this was it. I would have been very content. Just turn off the PS4 and never think about it again. This was horrible. In this part, I was so angry. I made many a tweet about this. And like at this and then whoops, you have to play as Abby. Whoops. Whoops. And in my mind, I didn't want to play as Abby. I wanted to play as Ellie. Actually, no, I didn't want to play as Ellie. I want to play as Joel. Anyway, so the next bit is you're playing as Abby. And at first I was very hesitant because I'm playing as the bad guy, the guy who killed Joel. Why would I do this? But eventually I was just like, just let me get to the end so I can complain about this. Anyway, so one thing that I haven't been talking about a lot is the Wolves, the Washington Liberation Front, the faction that Abby is in. They're very big, like they're like a decent town's worth of people. Anyway, it's pretty neat. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. But they're at war with the Seraphites, the Scars, because something. If you asked me what it was, you know what I'd say? Good question. Anyway, so like Abby's going through something, I can't remember what, and then she gets kidnapped by the Scars. No, I remember. She's trying to find Owen, who is I don't like, and Owen like something I don't know. But on her path, she gets kidnapped by the Scars, and she's gonna die. But then there are other runaway Scars who are also gonna be killed, who are also being executioned and executed. They're also being executed, and then Abby, and then they manage to break free, and Abby like takes them, and they hide to shelter. Anyway, Abby makes it to her to where Owen is, and that's stupid. I don't like Owen. I don't like him. He's boring. Anyway, I forgot the main thing. I forgot about this part. After the fake out climax, you go back like 4 years, and you're playing as Abby, and you meet Abby's dad, and then someone's like, "Hey, it's the thing. Come over here." And then like, oh, it's the girl. We can make the vaccine. And then like 2 hours later, oh no, everyone's dead. Anyway, so you learn that Abby's dad was the main surgeon that got killed by Joel. Anyway, so Abby's like, shoot, I gotta help those Scars. They're dying. They don't know what they're doing. The two Scars are Yara and Lev, and they are two of four characters that I gave a crap about. Anyway, so Yara, the older one, her like right arm, I believe it's her right arm, has gone kaput because the big Scar lady like totally bashed it up. She's dying. So Abby and Lev have to go over to the wolves' hospital to get some stuff to do some stuff. I don't really remember, and I'm just gonna kind of gloss over this part because I was too angry to remember anything. Anyway, so Yara, so Abby learns, so Abby starts liking Yara and Lev. She's like, oh, these guys aren't bad. And then Lev like goes back to their island and something, Abby also has to go to it because the wolves are attacking it because of the storm, something, something. And then, like, Abby rejects the wolves and just goes off by herself with Yara and Lev. Unfortunately, Yara dies, and so it's just Abby and Lev. And this part was amazing. Going to the Scars' island, and it's like it's on fire. It like the wolves are assaulting it. Everything's on fire. You're fighting both wolves and Scars. It's awesome. This part was like, yeah. And during this section with Abby, during like the second half of Abby's stories, I realized something again. I had an epiphany. Oh, now I'm liking this. Now it's good. How could this be good? Why? And then you get back to where Owen's place is, and everyone's dead. You go back to Abby's to you find Ellie's map, go to Ellie's, and now you have to kill Ellie as Abby. And this part, I was pretty conflicted because it's like, no, I don't want to kill Ellie because I like Ellie, but I also don't want to die because I've gotten attached to Abby. And at this point, I was like, oh, now the game is good. Anyway, some semantics happens. They both live, and one thing that I've also glossed over is the flashbacks for both of the games, for both of the main characters. For Ellie is uncovering the truth about what happened at the end of Last of Us 1. And it's really good. It's really good. You're playing with Joel, and it's just good. Because it's like, yay, Joel's back. And there's one where like Ellie and Joel are doing a thing, and they come across two corpses. One's a zombie, one's a clicker, one's a skeleton. And they write a note. They wrote a suicide note, which was, oh, we left the base because we wanted to cause some good, and we both got bit, so we're both going to shoot ourselves because we don't want to turn into clickers. Oh. And then on the backside, I was like, oh, dude, I shot her. I can't do this. I can't take myself out. I just can't. I can't do this. I'm a coward. And then Ellie's like, oh, Joel, well, if only they were immune. What are you talking about, Ellie? You know, in all my life, I've never found someone else who was immune. Maybe they were hiding it. Yeah, well, and they get into this argument, and it's pretty intense. The last flashback is Ellie going back to the hospital, back to the finale of the first game, finding a tape recording that basically said, yeah, no, we're screwed. The one girl who could have saved us, and even if we had another one, the only man brilliant enough to make a vaccine is dead. Welp. And then Ellie confronts Joel, and she's like, listen, I'm going to give you one last chance. One last chance to tell the truth. If you lie, you'll never see me again. But if you tell the truth, no matter what it is, I'll go back with you. And then Joel says, they were going to make a vaccine, and it was going to kill you, so I stopped them. And it's very tense. Anyway, back to the main plot. An indiscriminate amount of time has gone by, or an unexplained time jump has gone by, and Ellie learns that Abby is in Santa Barbara. So she goes there. Dina's like, no, don't do it, don't do it. I'm gonna do it. No, don't do it. No, I'm gonna do it. No, don't do it. She goes there and she finds Abby basically a corpse because Abby got kidnapped by people. Don't even try to ask me what the plot of this game was. I was barely following it. But the thing is, it was still fun. That's the main thing. It was fun. And I was enjoying it somehow. Anyway, so there's a final fight, and they basically just box to the death. And again, this part was like, no, I don't want to kill him. No, don't make me do this. No, no, no. Anyway, then as Ellie is about to kill Abby, Ellie gets a flashback to her last memory with Joel, the start of the game. This was back in Jackson where they are, because at the start of the game, Joel got in a fight for Ellie, and yeah, Anyway, so Ellie goes over to Joel and they're kind of talking, and Ellie's like, you didn't have to do that, and it was like, yeah, well, I wanted to. You know I'd do anything for you. And they're talking, and then Ellie's like, I can't forgive you for what you did, but I'm gonna try. Or wait, no, that happens later. Sorry, again, no script. I'm just BSing all of this. Anyway, so Ellie's like, they're talking about something, and Joel's like, if I was back there again, somehow, I would have done the exact same thing. And I was like, I can't forgive you for what you did, but I'm gonna try. And you know what? The ending, I didn't really understand it, but I enjoyed it. Then you go back to Ellie's shed, the house with Dina, but oh no, she's gone. Everything's gone. Game over. You know what? I liked it. That's all I'm gonna say. This game, like it was fun, and I liked it. So some of the things that I said I'd come back to. First and foremost, the first thing is this game is not a game that you're gonna that is not fun. I think that that's something that is just the wrong like it's not wrong, but I think it's saying the wrong thing. The correct thing I would say is you're playing the bad guy. You're not playing the good guy. You're not. This is a game where you are not a good person. And that is what Ellie realized at at the finale. I forgot to say she releases Abby and they go their separate parts. But that is what Ellie did. She realized that she was the bad guy and she didn't want to do anything. I remember when I first played it, I had some rationalization to make me like it. I can't remember it, but I believe that that's what it was. She didn't want to be the bad guy anymore. Next is Naked Jakey's claim. I'm calling BS because, I would say that the amount of cutscene to gameplay, and gameplay is not just it's not just combat. There's a lot of scavenging, crafting. It's fun, but then again, there are the moments where it's just walking forward, doing nothing. But here's the thing: the game, I'd say it's worth playing just for the graphics. It looks amazing. It is so much fun. The gameplay is great. It is so much fun, and I loved it. And I would definitely say that there's a lot more than 3 hours of gameplay. And the last thing, the uncharacteristicness of Joel saying his name at the start, causing his death, is for the first 20 years of the apocalypse was not good. He had to constantly be looking over his shoulder, sleeping with one eye open. We see that a very good proof of this is in Last of Us One when Joel and Tommy are talking and they're having an argument and Tommy's like, I still have nightmares from those years. Well, we survived because of me. I wish I didn't. It wasn't worth it. But but in the time gap between Last of Us 1 and Last of Us 2, 4 years have gone by. And they're living in relative safety. Joel has definitely warmed up because at the start of Last of Us 1, he's a mean, old, grumpy man. And he does not have any room in his heart. At the end, he cares so much for this girl. And living in Jackson for 4 years has definitely softened him up. He's used to being with friends. He's used to not having to look over his shoulder. He's used to being safe. So, in this safe environment, he says, oh, I'm Joel. And he gets killed for it. I know that this has been all over the place, but all I have to say about it is this game is Game of the Year 2020. I I do think that this game is worth playing. Maybe not for the story, but just for the graphics, the gameplay, and the music, because everything is just good. I know that this game is very divisive, but one thing that Donkey said is that no other game would do this. And he's 100% right. 110% right. No other game would have you stop at the climax and go back to the start, and you're playing as the villain, and then having the villain's story be more interesting. Because that was the main thing that made me really turn my tune on it. It was that I liked Abby's story more. It had more to it. Ellie's was very grounded. Abby's was like, I loved it. Simply saying, Last of Us 2 is a great game, and a game that definitely deserves Game of the Year 2020.